It's 2026, and this is not how I wanted to kick my new year off, but here we are. It's one of those times where I need to be honest and transparent with you guys, because I always have been. Whenever I make a mistake, I take ownership of it, and I apologize to those that were affected, whether I like them and respect them or not, because that's the right thing to do, and that's what a man does. And so what do I need to talk to you about? I need to talk to you about the Dan Crenshaw situation. As many of you know, he sent me a cease and desist, threatened to sue me. I made a rebuttal. I invited him on the show. Then he challenged me. I accepted. I said, okay, perfect. January 2nd. To come on this show, you have to sign a release form. Just about everybody let me rephrase that. Everybody that's been on this show since around episode 10 has signed a release form. President Trump, J.D. Vance, Tulsi Gabbard, Joe Kent, lots of very important people, much more important than a congressman, have signed that release form. Everybody that has been interviewed in the new studio has signed the exact same release form. So, Dan Driscoll, Secretary of the Army, signed the exact same release form. Mike Waltz, former National Security Advisor and Ambassador to the UN, signed the exact same release form just a few days ago. Dan and his attorneys, they don't want to sign the release form. They want special concessions. We sent them that release form on December 26th. They then sent a bunch of red lines. We said, we're not making any special circumstances or modifying our release form for the congressman. I'm sorry, that's not going to happen. But we will make some special concessions for his protection on another document and send that over. Well, they have yet to sign either one of those documents. I have to have those documents signed to interview somebody. Everybody's done it. I talked to my attorney. I said, I think this is what's going to happen. They are going to wait until close of business on New Year's Eve to send some type of a communication in hopes that we don't get it, because who the hell is checking their email at 10 o'clock at night on New Year's Eve? Well, guess what? We get an email at 10 o'clock at night from Dan's campaign manager on New Year's Eve, where the next day is a national holiday and nobody's behind their desk. And the next day, it's game day, it's interview time. They said, we've booked the hotel that you've recommended. Will somebody be there to pick us up? There was no mention of the release forms. So here's what's going to happen. They're going to come here and they're going to make a big stink on how I didn't interview them and how I was scared to interview them or whatever, but they're hiding behind the paperwork. And so now, this is what's going to happen. Dan, I am now redacting my invitation for you to come on my show. I gave you the opportunity to be a man. You didn't take it. I gave you the opportunity to speak to 5.5 million people and prove to them that you are not insider trading. That's a fucking gift, I might add. A gift that not very many people get, and you turned it down. I'm not going to interview you now. I don't play games. I handle shit like a man. You know, here's another thing. When we talked to your campaign manager, they said, oh, we send a lot of these letters out, and usually this takes care of it. Now, I told everybody, about a week, 2 weeks ago, this is what you do, Dan. You're a bully. You bully people into submission. Anybody that scrutinizes you, you send them a nastygram, and you threaten to sue them, and that works. Unfortunately, it didn't work on me. And so for my audience, what I've done is I've just exposed how much of a bully Dan Crenshaw is. So from now on, if you want to scrutinize Congressman Dan, this is what's going to happen. You're going to get a harshly written letter threatening to sue you if you don't take the content down and make a public apology. And then that's it, because Dan doesn't have the courage to actually do anything else. So don't worry, you're not going to get sued. You've been exposed, Dan. Bye.